What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So, a Social Security reform and or increase will happen in the coming years. And I would say no more than 5 years out, we will see some type of reform to Social Security, and we could see it as soon as 2024. Now, I'm going to talk about why I'm saying this. And you have a lot of experts that are saying that the Social Security Trust Fund will run out of money by 2033 or 2034. So that means lawmakers need to act. They have a deadline now that they need to do something by. If they don't do anything by this deadline, then we're looking at a 23% cut across the board. And so that is why I'm saying that something will be done, and I would give it no more than 5 years, but we could even see something a lot sooner. So we're going to talk about this in more detail. I'm going to show you guys an illustration, and we're going to work our way through this. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification, and then click all. By clicking all, you'll get notified anytime we post a video. We do daily videos here, so by clicking the bell notification and clicking all, you should be getting updated every day. And just a reminder, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. And if you'd like to follow me on Twitter and Threads, you can at the TEC Show Live. Okay, so let's get right over to this illustration I have for you guys. And the reason that I'm putting this together is because this is an important time as far as an election season. And when we're in an election season, this is when we're going to be deciding who will be running our country for the next 2 years or 4 years. And so it's important for us to really look at Social Security, look at the lawmakers that are in favor of expanding Social Security, and look at the lawmakers who are in favor of making cuts to Social Security. Because if you're receiving Social Security right now, you're probably thinking, you know what, I want politicians that support Social Security. That's who I'm going to support. And those politicians that want to do away with Social Security or provide cuts to Social Security, those are the politicians that I don't want to vote for. I don't want to support them. And so you need to listen to some, and at the very end of this video, make sure you stay to the very end, because I'm going to have the lawmakers' talking points. Some of the things you might hear lawmakers say and what they actually mean. So we're going to do that at the very end. But let's take a look at this illustration here first. So we know in 10 years or less, we know that the Social Security Trust Fund, and the Social Security Trust Fund is the OASI, so it's the Old Age and Survivors Insurance, okay? That will run out of money. Right now, I think it's about $2.7 trillion that they have. It will run out of money by around 2033 or 2034. Now, it just depends on how much money comes out of the trust fund, okay? Because it fluctuates. It depends. If COLA is up, if the COLA increase goes up like to 8.7% in 2023, that means that the trust fund is going to be depleting money a little bit faster. If it goes down, like it's going down in 2024 to 3.2%, so now you're not going to have as much coming out of the trust fund. But nonetheless, when it comes down to it, we're looking at the trust fund running out of money, and that gives lawmakers a deadline. They're going to have to do something by this deadline, and if they don't, then that's when we will see this 23% cut across the board, okay? So that's what I have here. 23% cut is coming if lawmakers don't act. Very important to note that. So what's the plan? Well, we've seen a lot of proposals out there, a lot of different proposals. Some proposals are cuts to Social Security. They're talking about raising the full retirement age and things like that, privatizing Social Security, those different, you hear those different words politicians use. But we also have some really good proposals that are out there. Social Security 2100 Act, a good proposal, provides an increase for Social Security, provides an increase for the COLA. So when it comes to COLA, automatic 2% increase across the board. So that is in addition to what COLA comes to be. So if COLA is 3.2%, you get an additional 2%. So you have now 5.2% instead of 3.2%. Now, it's not a lot, but it will help. I mean, that almost doubles what people would be receiving in 2024 if this was enacted. You also have Senator Bernie Sanders' plan, $200 raise for Social Security. So that's out there. So you do have some good plans that are out there. But you also have some plans that will provide some cuts to Social Security. So you just need to be kind of aware of what you're listening to. Double taxation, that's another proposal that's out there that can help. It can help some people receiving Social Security. It's not going to help everyone, but if you're paying into taxes and things like that, not everyone that receives Social Security is paying into taxes, but if you are paying into taxes, then that's when that would benefit you, the no double taxation. So I also have another number here, 79%. Now, 79% of people, the American people, oppose cuts to Social Security. Okay, very important for us to put that out there. So, and this is an AP poll. Now, the reason why this is important is because there's huge support among the American people for some type of reform to Social Security and no cuts to Social Security. Huge support. And so that's when you really need to start leaning on these lawmakers to let them know that you support this and you want this to be implemented. And that will put pressure on these lawmakers to actually do something sooner than later. Because some lawmakers, let's face it, some lawmakers are actually counting the years. So they're basically saying, you know what, in 10 years, this is going, the Social Security Trust Fund will go bankrupt. Will I still be in office in 10 years? Is this something that I need to address? You know, when is my last term? So if you're like a Mitch McConnell looking at his last term, 2027, or I think it's 2027 or 2026. So does he really need to address Social Security if that's going to be his last term and he's not going to run again? Now, we don't know if he's running again, but I would imagine he's getting up there in age. He's probably not going to run for another term. But you have lawmakers that are looking at this and saying, does it make sense for me to even address this? Because they're going to have to raise taxes. That's the bottom line. Taxes will need to be raised in order to provide some type of reform to Social Security, a good reform. Now, they can just kind of go through the motions and extend it a few more years, maybe extend it another 10 years down the road by doing little things, little tweaks, and making little cuts and raising the full retirement age and all that. But to truly reform Social Security, which they haven't done in over 50 years, they're going to need to raise taxes. Either raise the payroll tax across the board or raise the cap on people making $160,200 or more. They're going to have to do something. And so that isn't popular. And so some lawmakers, they might think, you know what, I don't want to address this. I don't want to be the bad guy, basically. I just want to do my time, get out of office, and then, you know, I could never see, you know, you could never come at me and say that I raise taxes on people. Some lawmakers are looking at it that way. Okay, so deadline is clear. So we already know that reform needs to happen, and it needs to happen soon. The sooner, the better. So we'll have to see if lawmakers actually move on this. Now, my call to action for you, it's up to you to make these changes when it comes to the lawmakers. If you put the right lawmakers in place, lawmakers that support some type of a reform for Social Security that provides an increase, then it will happen. Or you have a better chance. I won't say it will happen. You have a better chance of seeing it happen. Right now, you don't have a good chance of seeing an increase for Social Security because you don't have the right lawmakers in place. I mean, you have split government right now. You have some lawmakers saying we need to protect Social Security, and we'll talk about the talking points in a minute, but we need to protect Social Security, and what they're really saying is we need to make some cuts to Social Security. And so you have to put the right lawmakers in place. You put the right lawmakers in place, and that will give you the opportunity to see some type of an increase for Social Security. Okay, let's go ahead and talk real quick about the talking points. So you're going to hear lawmakers out there. It's an election season, so you're going to hear them talking about what they want to do to reform Social Security, okay, if they're even talking about reforming Social Security. One thing you're going to hear is we must protect Social Security. Okay, you're going to hear that on both sides. Democrats and Republicans are going to say that. But you have to listen really closely to what they're saying and what they say after they want to protect Social Security. Because some lawmakers will say they want to protect Social Security, and what they mean is they want to provide cuts to Social Security in order to prolong the program. So you really need to pay attention to what they're saying. How do they plan to protect Social Security? Because we already know they need to pull in a revenue stream, and some lawmakers want to pull in the revenue stream by just making cuts. Okay, so if you make cuts, you're actually saving money so the program can last longer. But some lawmakers are saying they want to protect Social Security and they want to expand Social Security. So listen to those words. If they're talking about expanding Social Security, they're usually talking about a new revenue stream coming in where they're collecting more money for Social Security, and that money will go towards an increase for Social Security or prolong the program for 75 more years and things like that. So you need to listen to what these lawmakers are saying when they say they want to protect Social Security. Okay, another one here, raise the cap. So we've heard this before. You have Social Security 2100 Act. They want to raise the cap on people making $400,000 or more. You have Senator Bernie Sanders' plan, the $200 raise for Social Security. They want to raise the cap on people making $250,000 or more. So you're going to hear politicians talk about this, raising the cap. That generally means an increase or an expansion to Social Security. That's what that usually means when you hear lawmakers say that. Seniors are living longer. This is something that we hear a lot of politicians say. Seniors are living longer. So guess what? What does that mean? They're talking about raising that full retirement age. They're trying to justify raising the full retirement age. We know for every year that you raise the full retirement age, that's a 7% cut to Social Security benefits. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Social Security is going bankrupt. Okay, you'll hear lawmakers say that. So they're not saying specifically the trust fund. They're just saying in general, Social Security is going bankrupt. We need to reform Social Security. I want to protect Social Security. So the reason why they're saying it's going bankrupt is because they want the American people to believe that it's not going to be there. So if they believe that it's not going to be there, they'll be more comfortable with if there are cuts to Social Security, they'll be more comfortable with it because they'll look at it like, well, this person's actually saving Social Security, so I don't mind seeing a 23% cut, not knowing that it's the trust fund that's running out of money. It's not Social Security as a whole. Okay, we must raise the full retirement age. So you'll hear some lawmakers will come right out and say, we need to raise the full retirement age. We haven't raised the full retirement age in over 40, 50 years, so we need to do that now. People are living longer, life expectancy, all that. They're going to throw all that stuff in there, okay? So that's a cut to Social Security. Just understand when you hear lawmakers talk like that, that's what they're saying. Some of the other stuff here, we must create private accounts. You're going to hear some lawmakers say we need to create some private accounts for people who are younger. So it's not going to impact people right now that are receiving Social Security right now, but people who are younger, we need to provide some type of private accounts. And basically what they're saying is privatizing Social Security. But understand, if you're talking about privatizing Social Security, the people who are younger right now, they're paying 6.2% of their taxes. They're working, their 6.2% of their taxes is going to the Social Security Administration, as well as the company that they work for. That's another additional 6.2% that's going to the Social Security Administration. Now, if you want to privatize Social Security, what they're saying is you're going to take a portion of that 6.2% that you normally send to the Social Security Administration, a portion of that is going to go into a private fund, which means it's no longer going to the Social Security Administration, which means the Social Security Administration is collecting less money. And if they're collecting less money, they're not going to be able to give out benefits at the same rate. Because like I said before, the young people right now that are working, they're paying for the people who are currently receiving Social Security benefits. Just like when you were working, you were paying for those people who were receiving Social Security benefits. So this would actually hurt Social Security. Okay, means test Social Security benefits. This is something else that you hear lawmakers talking about, means testing the program. So people who are wealthy and receiving Social Security benefits, cut them off at a certain level, and then people who are at the bottom end, the bottom end of the spectrum, people who are at or below the poverty line, raise their benefits up a little bit. And so that's something that you'll hear politicians talk about, means testing. Chris Christie's running for president. He talks about it all the time, means testing. So you're going to hear that. Now, the last one here, Social Security, Medicare, and interest on the debt are the largest drivers of our national debt. You're going to hear that over and over again, when the reality is interest on the debt is the only thing that impacts our national debt. Social Security and Medicare do not impact our national debt because, like I stated before, the money is coming from the payroll tax. So that money comes in, goes to the Social Security Administration, and that's what we use to pay benefits, that as well as the trust fund. And so let me repeat this. Social Security and Medicare are not adding to our national debt, but lawmakers will tie them in together because they want you to believe that Social Security is the problem, when the reality is Social Security is not the problem. The problem is we spend our general fund, we're spending way too much money on military. We spend a lot of money on things, even sending money to other countries and things like that. That's where the bulk of our problem is. It's not Social Security and it's not Medicare, but they're going to look at those because there's such a large amount of money that's coming into those programs and going out to benefits. That's why they're trying to attack it and say, well, it's adding to the national debt, when it's not adding to the national debt. So that's all I have for you guys today. Wow, it got really bright in the background there. The sun is rising. So if you guys have any questions, let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.